Uber. Great. Okay, any others that are burning that we haven't got here? Okay, good. Well, that's very efficient. Thank you for that. So the second thing that we have to do is prioritize one or maximum two of these events that we particularly want to work on. So would anyone like to suggest what they might be from this list of 25 or 27?
In my opinion, what we have been doing in many countries is the World Breastfeeding Week. So I think it's very popular, and then it worked very well so far. In many countries, the other event is less popular, or very few partners working on that specifically. So if I have to nominate one, so I think World Breastfeeding Week.
Okay, thanks, Lynn. Any other ideas?
Yes, I second Lynn, because I think in Indonesia, one of our main works is around breastfeeding. So I think the momentum around the conference in January, or I think maybe the August momentum, yeah, the World Breastfeeding Week momentum. And I think also we try to link with activities around the World Health Assembly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's also a momentum for us to engage with our national government.
Okay, great.
That's
Any
great.
further suggestions?
And I know in many countries, not only a week to celebrate the World Breastfeeding Week. So like in Cambodia, it's kind of like breastfeeding month, or kind of like it's longer than a month.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, any other thoughts?
I agree with Patricia on her two nominations, the Breastfeeding Week and the World Health Assembly.
Okay, so I was just thinking, I was wondering if we maybe also want to include the Nutrition for Growth Summit. That seems like maybe the biggest event for nutrition in the last 3 or 4 years, which is in December. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, definitely, it's important.
So I think the rest of the group might criticize us if we don't include that.
Yeah.
So perhaps we can pick the Nutrition for Growth Summit and World Breastfeeding Week. Would that be a good compromise?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me just go back to this. Right, so we're going to choose Nutrition for Growth and the World Breastfeeding Week. Fantastic. So now the next step is I am going to copy you all a mural link. Have you all worked with Mural before in the last 2 weeks? So it's basically a forum through which we can all collaborate in the same space. So can you all click on that?
Yeah.
And you'll see that in the top left there is a box that says Group 1. Ooh. And you all have access to that?
I don't know, but it's kind of like so many people sign in at the same time, so it's a little bit slow to get connected.
No rush. So I can see a couple of people have joined, which is great. So you can see in the top left, I'm starting to make some descriptions here. So I put World Breastfeeding Week and the N4G Summit. Right, I'll delete a few of these to make some space. Okay, so what we've been tasked with doing is looking at that mural, which I've just created, and we need to discuss and identify some tactics for each activity. So for Nutrition for Growth and for World Breastfeeding Week, maybe 2 or 3 different activities that we're going to do. And we're going to write those tactics down next to each activity. Okay, so that's the next thing we're going to do. So I'm just going to make another post-it note here to make that a bit clearer. So tactics. And I think the idea will be that we will put some tactics here underneath the tactics column. Okay, so has anyone got any thoughts, maybe from your experience at country level, what the tactics might be for World Breastfeeding Week and for the N4G Summit? Any ideas?
Sure.
I think firstly, usually WABA will launch the theme and key messages on also ask the country to fill in the action folder. So I think it's a great like documentation to see the activity committed by partners across the country. So I think like maintain a strong partnership with WABA to get updated is kind of tactic.
Okay, so I'm not sure I fully understand what that is. So can you explain it to me in a bit more slowly, maybe? So what exactly is it that you're doing for World Breastfeeding Week there?
Yeah, so I see that every year WABA sent email to country team to ask about the activity that they committed to conduct during the World Breastfeeding Week. So if we look at that action folder, we can understand and or refer or get it as a reference country in the country to see if we can adapt it to our country or to like collaborate. So I think one of the tactics is to keep partnership or collaboration with WABA to promote the World Breastfeeding Week activity.
Great, so I'm putting that in there now. Hopefully you can see that action photo. So a list of activities in advance of the week to boost collaboration and promote World Breastfeeding Week. That's great. Any other ideas on tactics?
Chris.
Yes, yes, Mr. Christopher. Do you hear me?
I can, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this is Lal Gul from Afghanistan. For the hi, how are you? I hope everybody is okay. But for the 2021, our program is in February as a school-based education campaign in 5 provinces at the national level. School-based education and engagement, young girl, teacher, and parents raise their voice and concern on stunting and anemia. Prepare storyboard for the decision maker. And also we have the education campaign in March on the International Women Day. That is, I think, worldwide and also in Afghanistan, celebrating that days as a national level to participate in the celebration along with the government, meet the Minister of Women, and highlighted the nutrition problem of the mother and provide the recommendation security in nutrition and the rule of the ministry. Also, we prepared the plan for the 2001 in March. This is a local language is calling the Bazgar Uraza. This is the Farmer Day. The Farmer Day is Afghanistan, Kabul, and 2 more provinces. We will be do education. They highlighted the importance of the work the farmer do to bring part in the difficulties, the peace, and to educate to the Minister of Agriculture and Irrigation about their lot. Also, we had we will be education on the 16 October World Food Day. World Food Day also is as international and also celebrating in Afghanistan too. That will be we will be advocacy as a regional level and international level and national level. An opportunity to promote the national awareness and action for those who suffer from hunger and to highlight the need to ensure a healthy diet for all. To make the follow-up of 2020 recommendation, press release, interviews with the TV by the different
Lal, I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to stop you there because we're running a bit short of time, and we really want to. That's really useful. We want to focus specifically on World Breastfeeding Week here. So I've written down your brilliant idea on a storyboard for decision makers, which is great as a tactic. But I'm conscious that we've got quite a lot more to get through, so I think we should move on. So we've got a couple of tactics for World Breastfeeding Week. We also need a couple of tactics for the Nutrition for Growth Summit in terms of engagement. Does anyone have any ideas on what tactics we might be able to use for collaboration and for galvanizing governments for the Nutrition for Growth Summit?
Yes, that is most of the involvement ministry here and the public health ministry. We had to close collaboration, coordination with them. That is a very important weeks and issues for the healthy children, and we did work much with them, and also we are working with them, and I think this feeding week is very important for the advocacy and awareness rising in everywhere and as a national level.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Dal. So any other thoughts from other countries on what tactics we might use in advance of the Nutrition for Growth Summit?
Yeah, Christopher. So for Indonesia, I think our CSN network, we don't have enough information yet about what the government is planning. So maybe if there can be like, I don't know if more information is already there at a global level that can be shared with us also, so that we can even identify like who is involved, or even if there are activities that can be coordinated globally but at country levels, then that's probably an opportunity for us to then also start the conversation from our end about the Nutrition for Growth Summit. Because as far as we know, UNICEF is leading this, but seems like the government probably does not yet consider engagement of CSO and other networks yet at this stage. And that's the information that we have. I mean, there could be already things progressing, but maybe we are not aware of any info or even coordinated effort at the global level that we can use to actually start that conversation from our end with the government. That would be useful.
Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, and rest assured, we're going to be sending all of you across the whole network a package of information in the next 3 weeks to prepare for, because then that is then 12 months away from the summit. And so we'll be sharing a lot of different communications material, the commitment guide, the principles of engagement, etc. To help you all with that. And I think there's probably a really good tactic in there, which is about sensitization of governments using that material, because I think many of your governments will not be prioritizing N4G at the moment. And so using that material to inform your governments of what they need to do is a really important tactic. Are there any other thoughts on tactics for N4G?
I think I'd like to add,
Christopher, this is DS from Pakistan.
Hi, DS.
Yeah, hi. So what I'm hearing is completely the fact that the government and the CSO or the CSN, some CSN, are working in silos. So the government may have some plan, but we don't know about it, and vice versa. So is there any way that the Secretariat can facilitate by sending messages to the various health ministries of countries to sensitize them, and also the fact that to communicate with the some CSN in their country, somehow to bring us together?
Yeah, so we can definitely provide you with a lot of information. Absolutely. I don't think it's really appropriate for the Secretariat to communicate directly with your governments in your countries, because we really want the civil society alliances to take the lead in their individual countries, because we know that you have much better local understanding and knowledge of how your governments work. But as I've just said to Patricia, we're going to be providing you with a lot of material with which you can use to talk to your governments about the Nutrition for Growth Summit. Absolutely. And we can also provide tailored support on particular advocacy opportunities, tactics, targets, if you come to us asking for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to add. Oh,
this,
sorry.
sorry, one more, I'm really conscious we're running out of time. We only have about 8 minutes left and we're still on the first topic.
Yes.
So on tactics, we need one more tactic for the N4G Summit. Has anyone got any ideas on that?
Yeah, I'd like to add, based on the input of the last, more platform consultations in country, so that we can also prepare for the N4G summit.
Chris, so may I offer an option? So I know that the Sun Movement have the donor network, and we know an example in Laos that the EU put pressure to the government to adopt the implementation guideline for the national code, and then it's really works. So they have to like make it happen within the timeline. So I'm thinking whether the Sun Movement can work with the donor network to have kind of, I don't know, pressure or what, to make the government in the country to commit something for nutrition before the N4G.
That's a great idea. Okay, I've put that down as well. Brilliant. So in the interest of time, we've got some tactics now, which is really great. So we're now going to move on to who we think the right lead countries might be within our network for these events. So which do you think the right lead countries might be for the World Breastfeeding Week? It sounds like many of you are involved with World Breastfeeding Week. So which countries do you think would be suitable to take the lead? Any ideas?
So what do you mean by taking the lead? Is like to play the facilitation role or to engage with other country to have one voice?
Yeah, exactly. So within the Asia region, is there a country or a few countries that maybe is best positioned to work on World Breastfeeding Week primarily, and then to support other countries to do their work as well?
Chris, Malaysia houses the WABA headquarters. Maybe they can work with the WABA secretariat in Malaysia to coordinate the work.
I'm sure that we have a civil society alliance in Malaysia. That's the only problem. So they would struggle to lead the CSN group in Asia. But certainly it's something that we can, an organization we can engage with.
Bangladesh might be another choice, because they have very strong civil society organizations that are working on breastfeeding.
Great. Any other thoughts on that?
I'm thinking of the Sun CSA Cambodia. They have very solid organization, and then they also get great support from HKI, Helen Keller International.
Great. Okay. These are not binding, of course. Like, these are just ideas, so don't worry too much about suggesting countries. So we'll put Bangladesh and Cambodia down for the moment. What about the N4G summit? Can you think of any countries that have historically been very engaged with N4G in Asia?
Dr. Aina, do you think the Philippines can take the lead in this?
Just that, I think we can suggest that.
Okay, great. So we've now only got 2 or 3 minutes left before we have to return. So we might not be able to do the final question, but I think this next question is very good, which is, what support do you think will be needed from the Civil Society Network Secretariat? So on World Breastfeeding Week, what support do you think is needed from the Secretariat? If any? It may be that so many of you seem to be working on it that you might not need much support at all. What do you think?
Is there any financial support that the Sun Secretariat can offer for arranging webinars or for arranging meetings with communities, etc.?
It's always possible. Like, we have a very limited budget, and we hope, like, one of our jobs is to make sure that the civil society alliances in every country have, we hope, the funding that they need to operate and to do their own work. But we know that isn't always possible, and in some countries, CSAs do not have enough funding. But the ambition is that all countries have the sustainable funding they need to do that sort of thing themselves. But yeah, I can put that down. Anything else?
Yeah, maybe it's about the material. I mean, the breastfeeding material that can be shared with other through website or social media, something like that.
Okay, great. And for N4G, I've already written down provision of more information, because it feels to me like many of you have said that there is a lack of information on N4G. So the Secretariat can certainly provide more information about how to pledge and when to pledge for N4G, and for information on sensitization of governments. Is there anything else apart from that you think would be useful for N4G?
Chris, I'm not so sure about other countries, but like in Vietnam, the government focal point for Sun is not at very high level. So is there any way that the regional network can support or kind of like give some recommendation to the government of Vietnam here to have a more high level of presentation at the Nutrition for Growth?
Fantastic. Okay, great. So I think we've got enough there to report back on. So hopefully you can all see what I've written in the group 1 on the mural. So I think now we can go back to the main room. So you should be able to do that by going back to the main call, which is called ACG Annual Regional Meeting Session 3, and then clicking Resume. Can you all see that? And then Lynn, I know you've kindly volunteered to present for us, so that's fantastic. We'll look forward to hearing what you have to say. You can use the mural, of course, as your notes.
Yes. So at least I need to kind of like have a screenshot in order to avoid any disconnects.
Okay.
So see you in a while.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you, Lynn, for volunteering. Thank you, Chris.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.